Well, it's such a joy to be here in Baroda, and I had a tough journey actually. Day before yesterday, I was in Bangkok, finished a concert there, and yesterday I was at Pondicherry Institute of Medical Sciences and finished that and came home, rested a little bit, and then this morning over here. But that is not uncommon for a traveler. The maximum I've done is 4 countries in a day. And but the topic is envisioning tomorrow. That's just amazing. We all wish. I remember seeing an article, someone said, one day India will be corrupt free. Which tense is that? We tried to figure out, and finally someone came up there by saying it's a future impossible tense. But I don't believe that. I really believe that India is going to really make a huge impact if we are really going to envision for a better India tomorrow. Now let me start out with my own life. And this is my wife. She is from Nagaland. Her name is Zan Beni. And 2 years ago, we got married. And we wanted to really make a difference, even in the area of how we get married, the wedding day. And you see, in India, weddings are lavish and foolish because they spend so much of money for that one day and then they suffer for the rest of their lives. And we wanted to be an example to our family, to our society. Now, there is nothing called RSVP in our culture. People just show up, you smile and welcome. But you can do something with the food, because food is such an integral part that people keep complaining. And so we decided that let's target the food. Now, if the food is good in a wedding, people remember for a week. If the food is bad, then they'll remember for a month. But if you don't serve food at all, they'll remember you for a lifetime. And that's what we did. We didn't serve any food at all. Nobody died, nothing went wrong, and nobody complained because there was no food. And it was just a wonderful thing we did. And at the end, when we pulled up all the money that we saved, we were able to bless a family who needed money to renovate their house. See, that is what we want to see, is we want to impact the society. And I was dreaming for this day when I would get married. My wife was dreaming. It was all good, and we were envisioning for a better tomorrow. But after 1 year of our marriage, my wife suddenly opened up and said, Benny, this is something that I want to tell you. And first time I'm finding trust to share that I was raped when I was 7 years old. And then later on, by another man who was a married man with 3 children. And her life was completely shattered. See, my life and her life, when we look at our lives, we come from broken backgrounds. We are not highly educated people. In fact, educationally, we are very compatible actually. My wife is 9th standard up here and I'm 10th standard failed. But you see, with our life, it was so tough. When I look at my life, I could not finish my 10th standard because I grew up in this school where everything was based on comparison, and comparison will steal the joy of your life. And my father being an aerospace scientist and me being the firstborn in the family, how can you medically prove that every firstborn son will have the same brains like the father? And I was forced to becoming something that I was not meant to. And you compared to your neighbor's children, and it was hard. And in my 10th standard, my teachers called my parents and said, your son is really useless. We have never had a single failure in the school, and your son is going to create history by being the first ever failure. And we don't like to have children like this. So diplomatically, I was thrown out of school. And I tell the world today, I could not finish my 10th standard because the Indian educational system was not up to my standard. And I want to tell you that there are so many people in this world who can really do wonderfully well, but they might not fit into the box of what we are trying to put. And we want to envision a better tomorrow. You really can't stick to the box. And my wife, when she was in her 9th standard, when she was walking to school, one day this 30-year-old man caught hold of her hand. She was only 13 and pulled towards the mother and said, I want to marry your daughter. And my wife was so shocked. She went into a trauma. She did not want to be raped one more time. So she locked herself in the house and she would not step out. And hence, she could not finish even her 9th standard. There are various reasons why people could not finish those dreams that the society says. But if you want to envision tomorrow, you need to fight against it. You can't just sit there with challenges that you faced from the past. And I struggled. I struggled with identity. I struggled. My brother and my 3 sisters were far better than me, more good looking than me, well behaved, and I was the odd guy in the family. And I was so odd, like my father would give me a watch for my birthday. I could only wear it for 15 minutes. And after that, I really want to know what is inside the watch. I open up, never studied mechanics, but I want to open up. I open up, and then I see that I can open up a little more. I open up every bit. And I'm so satisfied that this is how the watch works. Now I try to put it back. And I put everything back, but suddenly I discover that the company by mistake put 2 screws because they're not fitting anywhere else. And the watch stopped working. And people said, look at this. This is who you are. You are a destroyer of creativity. You are useless and worthless. Why? Because I did not fit into a system. Envisioning tomorrow cannot be in that one box. One sheet of marks card cannot decide everything in life. And having lost every purpose in life, and medically I was born with asthma, and from the age of 2 till the age of 16 I was on wrong medication, and as a result of that 60% of my lungs got damaged, my immune system broke down, and I developed rheumatoid arthritis. By the age of 16 the doctors gave me 6 months to live. Tell me, my friends, why do you want to live? You're thrown out. Educationally, academically, you're useless. Compared inside the family and society, and now the doctor says you have 6 months to live. I even went for music lessons, and on the first day the guitar teacher said, don't come back again. You have no qualities of music. Having completely broken in every bit of my life, I didn't even have the desire to live for one more day. During that time is when I contemplated to commit suicide. I was totally shattered. And I remember that one day when I went to church, on the second day, in fact, I heard the voice of Jesus Christ. He said, Benny, even though you are called useless, I want you. I can transform your life and make you a new person. And I said, why do you need me when everyone says I'm worthless? He says, Benny, I have a plan and a future for you. And that was enough for me to believe that I was created with a purpose, even though my present situation says I am a worthless child. That voice was enough for me to take me further, to dream big. In spite of what the society says, I worked hard, I fought against all odds. And today this is how my passport looks, and you can see the world map out there, and that is how I travel. And this one passport is a combination of 15 books. I love it. It's an Indian passport, made in India. I am made in India. The passport is made in India. My favorite part is to carry the passport across the immigration desk. That's my most favorite thing. When you put it across the counter, you must see the facial expression of the officer. And sometimes, some officers don't know what to do. And the smart ones would say, sir, don't come as a family, come one person at a time. But when I tell them that I am this one person, they cannot comprehend. How could you travel the world? Where did you get the money to do that? You are an artist. How could you do it? But I'll tell you, who said that money is the ultimate deciding factor for our dreams to come true? That's not true. I believe that if we find our purpose, and with that, if you add passion into it, you can do wonders and money will follow you. You don't need to run after money. There are so many people today. They've given up their dreams, they've given up their goals, they've given up their passion and their joy for the sake of money. No. I believe that God created each one of us to enjoy life on this earth, which is not necessarily only after money. It's many other things. Look at my life. I could travel to 257 countries. Countries like small, tiny little country on my left-hand corner. It is called Pitcairn Island. It is so far away from the airport that from the nearest airport, it takes 2 days by boat. But the boat is available once in 3 months. You see, I went to Fiji. From Fiji, I went to French Polynesia. From French Polynesia, I took this boat once in 3 months. It takes 2 days by boat. When I reached the island, Pitcairn Island, the organizer said, Benny, you're going to do the first ever concert in 200 years. I was so thrilled. But the amazing part was when I finished at the concert, the organizer comes and says, "Sir, you will not believe this is the largest gathering we ever had." I said, "How can you say that?" He said, "The entire population of the country is 66 people. And 52 people have come for the concert. That is 80% of the country that has come for the concert." And you know, I was a broken child. I was messed up. I was ashamed. But God restored my life today. And today my family is proud of me. I did not become a scientist, but you see, my father is proud of me today. And I want to challenge you today that don't just give up just because the society says you cannot do it. Parents, your children are human. They have life, they have dreams. And sometimes those dreams are not based on your expectations. But I believe that when you believe in them, they will do wonders. So having traveled to every country in the world, I broke the world record in 2010 when I arrived in my last country, Pakistan. And I became the fastest man in the world to travel to every country in the shortest time, 245 nations at the time, including Antarctica, in 6 years, 6 months, and 22 days. If a broken person, written off by school and society, could create history, imagine the potential that every individual has in order to envision a better tomorrow. But we cannot just stick to one box. And today, schools invite me. In fact, recently I had to speak for a 12th standard graduation. How can they even invite me to speak for a graduation when I've not even finished my 10th standard? So, this is the irony of our educational system. I was thrown out of school and now they're saying, "Penny, please come to our school and be a role model." But I want to challenge you today that you want to envision a better tomorrow. Let us think outside the box. We can't just stick to that. And now, having traveled to every country in the world, I went back to Banglore in 2012. God gave the idea in order for me to build a very special cafe called Chai 316. I pulled in all my savings and everything and built a 400-seater cafe. This cafe, we only serve tea, and the price of the tea is decided by the students. And our goal is 80% listening and 20% talking. The goal is to listen to the problems of the students. We deal with students who are depressed, suicidal, and lonely. You see, between the age group of 16 to 29, prime age in our country, the highest deaths is not through accidents, it is not through sickness, but it is through suicides. What are we doing with mental health in our nation? We are pushing them to become scientists and doctors, but do you really care for them? When your child is going through those exam season, do you even ask them how is their health? All that we desire is academic report, but what about their life? Life consists of emotions, joy, pain, suffering. And that's what we do is here we sit and listen to them. And through that listening, we are able to share the value and the gift of life that God has given us. The longest one sitting session we had was a depressed engineering student came at 11 in the morning and left at 7 in the evening. And every day we sit and we listen. And you know what? Every week, on average, we rescue one young boy or a girl from committing suicide. And this is what we do. You want to envision a better tomorrow, you have to start looking at how can I invest back into the tomorrow. Going back to my passport. When I take my first passport and when I turned 19th of February 2002, I took my first flight as a concert artist and I went from Delhi to Moscow. My first concert, excited. I arrive in Moscow and they ask me for a bribe of $50, 2,000 rupees. But you see, I'm an Indian and I'm a Christian. I don't give bribe. It is against my ethical and moral values. I want to envision a better tomorrow. And for that, I need my moral, ethical values. Because I refused to pay that $50, they detained me in the airport for 30 hours. For 30 hours, I was treated like a criminal, humiliated. And I'm desiring to do my first concert. The organizers are waiting outside. And after 30 hours of being detained in the airport, they decided to deport me back to India. What a glorious opening ceremony I had. But I'll tell you, what led me towards keeping my faith and my dreams alive is my values and my faith And today when I look at this passport, I've learned a lesson. Don't allow your beginning to shape the way you end. Don't allow your starting to shape the way you finish. But I believe that your existence on this earth and your faith can fuel you to achieve those dreams and make India a better tomorrow. You can envision our country. I believe I'm still in India. I'm still an Indian. Wherever I go, I always make sure that I represent my country. And I'm so proud and thankful to Jesus for making me an Indian. I'm going to close by playing a song on the pan flute. With 40% lungs, I was invited to play at the Paralympic Games in London in 2012. We have challenges. Challenges because of somebody else's mistakes. Challenges is because of some problems. My wife had this problem of rape because of what this man did. But you can't just sit there. My life was destroyed because of different things. But today I put my life into the hands of God. Say, God, give me the grace and the strength to face the challenges of tomorrow. And I took my life without excuses, but with the strength. I'm going to close by playing a song on this pan flute. When the doctor said I can't even breathe properly, God gave me the strength to play this beautiful instrument. I'm going to play this song called It Is Well With My Soul. Can we play the track? And some reverb on this mic, please. And reduce the treble. The track on the computer. And I need reverb on this. Thank you.